I almost shared Casino Royale with my family, and then I think I got distracted by something because I was like, oh, I want to pick out the best short that we have for it.
You were like, he made terrible shorts for this.
No. Last week was really stressful at work. We broke stuff, and then yeah, so it was a week. But hey, I think some of our YouTubes have gotten some good amounts of views.
Yeah, some of them. Not really on Instagram. That one doesn't really ever do well. TikTok goes up and down. It's kind of weird, but I mean, I was glad that more people were listening. I was like, sweet. It looks like they're listening to the older episodes, and so they're getting caught up. So,
well, that's cool.
But I'm over here excited, and they're never gonna know it. Well, they'll know in like several weeks when they get caught up. To Potato Chip Pictures, the movie franchise review podcast. Currently looking at the 007 Bond franchise. My name is B. Sammy Davis.
Hello, welcome. I am Justin.
And today we are looking at Skyfall, directed by Sam Mendes, from 2012, the year that the world ended. It's one of my favorites.
I forgot about that. It was really big.
It was such a big deal. I told my kids, this is an aside. I told my kids that 2012 did happen. That there was a zombie apocalypse, and it was really hard, and we took care of it. And for like the first 6 to 7 months of 2013, it really kind of sucked. But then we got it taken care of, and we were like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. Let's just pretend nothing happened. And so we erased it from all of the history books and just carried on.
It'll be fine. Nobody will notice.
Yeah. So I hope there are other people gaslighting their children in that way. Anyway, Skyfall had a budget somewhere between $150 to $200 million, not totally locked down from the source I'm looking at, but it had a return of $1.1 billion.
That's so crazy.
This is the first time they have broken $1 billion. This is the only time they have broken $1 billion.
Were they close last time? I don't remember the numbers.
Last time they had $586 million on their return. So they were over $500 million.
But then they double it. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So they did a very good job with this movie. It was a big deal when it came out. 2012 was the London Olympics, and so I do remember that Bond was in the Olympics. Yep. He saved the Queen and brought her to the Olympics. It was great. So, yeah, the point of that being that this movie makes a big deal about how old Bond is, and he's been in 2 movies and an Olympics.
Yeah, it really felt like this was a almost send off. Then like the end is like, oh well, actually we got more stuff. You're not that old. You're not that broken. Like, what am I supposed to believe? He's too, after a couple weeks of being dead, is too injured to keep doing his job. Like he's got such a gray beard, basically.
Yeah,
that might be my only complaint. Is the uncertainty of Bond's age. Is it too much, or is it actually fine?
I mean, he's only been doing this for 6 years. You know, Casino Royale was 2006. I don't think he's that old, but you're right. He's got a white beard. He's got all these wrinkles. Like, he's aging. But yeah, so I will agree with you. It stands out to me, and there were times while I was listening to them complaining about how old Bond is, where I was like, maybe this should have been Brosnan's last movie, where he's like, I am too old to be doing this, but I'm going to have one last mission. So I don't know about it being a Daniel Craig movie, but then again, it's so freaking good.
It has a lot of good parts. I think there's just a little bit of slowdown in some of the parts of at the 3/4 mark of this epic.
Now, I don't know if I've got a Joker. So I don't know if I should play it now or if I should hold on to it until the end.
True. Holding it is fine. Because we haven't even started until like the intro.
Yeah. All right. I think I have to play it because memory is fickle and I might forget.
Oh, sure.
The epiphany that I had while watching it right before we recorded is this feels, or at least one way you could watch this movie, one interpretation, would be that Javier Bardem's character, I think it's Silva, is that his name?
Yeah, Silva, yep.
He's the the evil Count of Monte Cristo. Like, we are getting a movie from the perspective of the villains of the Count of Monte Cristo. And if we were watching their story, all of a sudden this guy shows up who's like, I'm from your past and I'm gonna get my revenge.
I'm gonna wreck it.
And maybe it's a silly way to think about it, but at the same time I was like, whoa, wow. That's such an interesting way to frame a story, to be like, okay, here's a classic. Let's turn it all the way around and look at it from this perspective.
Something that is just postulated, or did the director or writers mention anything like that?
I've never seen anyone mention it. It was just something that I thought about. Like, I could be totally off base.
You got betrayed by your best friend and you spend all this time and money to make their life miserable when you come back to finish the job. And it's like, yeah, that's Count of Monte Cristo. So, I can see it. I think it's the overarching plot is usual for James Bond. Like, there's a villain. He has to stop him. He's presumed dead initially. Like, I thought it was kind of fun being James is dead again to the rest of the world. He has an obituary with no picture.
Oh, yeah. Good for him. And MI6.
Learn from your past mistakes.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. All right, well, let's dive in. I can't think of anything else that I'm missing. The only interesting tidbit that I can think of is that Sam Mendes, the director, will be back for the next movie. I don't know if that speaks to anything because, again, I barely know if I saw Spectre when it came out. Like,
I watched maybe half of it.
Okay, so you're ahead of me. I don't remember anything about it, if I saw it at all.
I got you.
I know I have not seen No Time to Die. That's new for me. So, I need to start by saying that sometimes the exception to the rule proves the rule.
This first mission is everything about the rest of the movie.
And yet I love the rest of the movie so much.
I'm trying to think of what would be different between this and the next, because I feel like this one, it does, like, the hard drive is a plot point of the rest of the movie. Bond dying doesn't necessarily have, like, all of the implications. Like,
I mean, it comes back three times. So it is kind of important.
Well, I just don't feel like later on the case is made that M betrayed Bond, and Bond's like, he's a little bitter about getting shot. It's like, sure, but, like, you're so mission focused. Why would you hold it against M to be like, sorry, gotta take the shot? Like,
yep.
Eve
No, I
agree. to make that happen. Like, it doesn't feel like he betrayal. Later on, it feels like M betrays him. Yes, later on, but this initial one, no. Like,
yeah,
trying to get the job done.
I'm of two minds. I mean, one of the things I love about it is that a lot of these betrayals, because I think Bond is betrayed 2, maybe 3 times in this movie, but it's meant to really drive home the point that he is different than Mr. Silva. He is a totally different person than the 80s through 90s favorite agent, And so I do think, now I'm going to point out, so the whole opening mission is a chase scene. It's very frantic. Every part of it I have fun with. Bond gets shot in the chest at one point. Like, this looks like he's not going to win. And then, as you pointed out, as they're fighting over this hard drive, M tells his ally, his unnamed ally, who will later be revealed as Eve. I'm not going to say her last name. I agree. She's so good.
Not my favorite for that part, but for what she was in, and I didn't realize it.
Oh, what was she in?
So I want to go watch it now, but I'm pretty sure her IMDb lists her as the lead opposite Cillian Murphy in 28 Days Later, and I'm like, oh yeah.
And really, that's a franchise, baby.
Yep. I'm like, I kind of see it. I don't remember her very well from the movie, but I should go watch that. Anyway, that's why I like her.
She is... Okay. Oh my gosh. My problem with this movie is that it's going to come back to cancel me one day when I say that both Naomi Harris and Bernice Marlowe, both playing Eve and Severin respectfully, are like the 2 most beautiful women I have ever seen in my life. Like, they are.
Yes. I was like, where are you going? Okay, I understand.
And I keep saying that there are times in this franchise where we have gotten to certain Bond girls, whether they truly be a Bond girl or they be a henchman, but the women in these franchises, and there have been times when I have been blown away at how beautiful these women are, and that's just what this franchise does. They're sure. Like, who's the most beautiful woman in the world right now? Oh, there's 3 of them? Let's put them all in this movie.
All 3 of them. I mean, yes, objectively, yes. In terms of the subjects, I absolutely love Eve. Severine, when we get to that plot point, it'll be like, she, with her smoky makeup, reminds me of GoldenEye's main villain. But she is just real enough, like, fleshed out as a person in this universe. So I don't love everything about her plotline, but
that is a very interesting idea, though, because I had not thought of that. But it is almost the same concept. Just like, what if you tilt the picture just a little bit so it's got slightly different lighting.
Well, yeah.
Then it's
Different,
slightly
completely
better.
different character, but
Yeah.
the smoky eyes made it like, oh, she looks like, what's her face? I can't even remember her villain name.
Are you talking Pussy Galore?
No, GoldenEye.
GoldenEye! Oh, that's right. I've kept hearing Goldfinger. And so I was thinking
Sonya?
plot point of that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, GoldenEye, I can only think
On a
of
top.
Jean Grey.
Yeah, Jean Grey.
Yeah. Yes, it was
can't
on a
remember her
top.
name.
That was her last name.
Her makeup and stuff, if she wasn't trying, she didn't try to kill Bond, so I appreciate, yes, objectively beautiful. I feel like Bond kind of goes after her and it's like, well, this feels a little icky, so.
That's why I was thinking you were talking Goldfinger, because I was like, yeah, you change it just a little bit, and suddenly it's okay, but it really does feel pretty similar.
Still not. Yeah.
So after Bond is killed, we cut to M in London, and she's, the storm begins, and we get the opening title credit, which is Skyfall by Adele. And this might be my third favorite Bond opening song.
Behind
fourth
what?
favorite song. Okay.
Fourth?
My fourth overall, and I will give you my top three. Oof. At number one. Oh my God. Can't believe it. I should have, because I wanted to write this down and I knew I should have written it down. Gotcha. And now I'm sitting here like, oh no.
Well, just sing part of it. I don't know.
Well, Goldfinger as a song. I don't think I can do this as a ranked list. Nope, it's not going to be
the three that you like more.
Okay, ones? The end credit song for that Pierce Brosnan movie, Tomorrow Never Dies by Katie Lang, is up there as like number one, but it's an end credit song, so it doesn't count as one of these opening credit theme songs. We can't put it on the list. You Only Live Twice is up there. I hate the movie so much, but I love the John McCarthy, or is it John McCarthy?
Paul McCartney?
Paul McCartney, thank you. The Paul McCartney and the Wings song, You Only Live Twice.
Oh, yeah.
Bow,
that one's good.
And then I think it is Goldfinger. I'm looking at the rest of these. I'd have to go through my liked songs to see, but I think it is Goldfinger.
Which one?
I find myself humming or singing Goldfinger. Wow, wow, wow. Like that gets stuck in my head just regularly. And then Skyfall is another one that just gets stuck in my head at times. I'll just be like, at the Skyfall.
Well, I think of all of them where they tried to incorporate the title, Skyfall probably hits it as the least awkwardly shoehorned in. I didn't understand it when I first saw it, and then all the time that they go through and say Skyfall, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
So we finally figure it out.
I do like finally figuring it out. Really quick, I need to go back before people start writing emails. Live and Let Die. That was the Paul McCartney and the Wings. Like I said, memory is a fickle thing. Live and Let Die. I love that song. Hate that movie.
It's a good. Oh, not
Live and
Beatles.
Let Die.
Yep.
Yeah, it hits every time. I like it. This was such a big deal song too, and I also think about the fact that Adele, as a performing artist, just fits the vibe of a Bond movie so well.
Yeah.
Like she's such a big band singer.
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah.
I can agree to that. I think intro was kind of a little bit more back to other Bonds. There's most of the sections are fine. The black and white women is kind of confusing. Like we end with a skull, which they kind of use in the tech pieces in this. I was kind of trying to like, oh, should I go back and watch this to see, does this follow the progression of the story? Because he goes to somewhere, I think there's like one of those dragon costumes or something. And then there's the computer skull face. Like, I wasn't sure if it was in order of the movie or if it was just pieces from the movie.
Yeah. I genuinely don't know. Now, I'm going to point out for my Count of Monte Cristo thing, and I just pointed out because I forgot to mention it. You were talking about the tech stuff and the hacking and all that stuff. And that got me thinking, like, how did Mr. Silva get all this money to, become a hacker and all this?
Somehow.
Yeah. And then I realized he sold the list. Like, he got it decrypted and he sold it.
Oh.
And so he's been collecting money for a long, long time. And this is just his latest caper in order to finalize his plan of revenge. But yeah, he's been doing his growth phases of collecting money and all that in the background for a long, long time. But
not
anyway,
with any background organization, completely unaffiliated.
Yes. Oh goodness, man! I just want to talk about him so much. He's such a fascinating character. But I'm also sitting here thinking, like, they're so vague when he talks about where he came from. He only says they tortured me. He didn't, and M is the one who tells us it was China, but he never says it was China. He just said it was they who tortured him. So I kept thinking, like, I bet it was Spectre. I bet Spectre turned him.
Could have been.
Or I mean, Quantum. Sorry.
I wonder if they do. I don't remember them referencing him, but they may in the next movie. I wonder.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if it comes up, I might be like tee hee hee, but at the same time, I will kind of feel cheapened by it because I feel like Mr. Silva is such a wonderful, and him just showing up out of nowhere on a revenge mission.
Very Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, it's so fascinating and interesting, and I love it so much. But, once we've had our opening credits that I liked, I don't know if I could give it a score yet. I think I might have to watch these together. I don't, yes, it is titillating, but I don't think it's as titillating as other ones have been.
I just didn't enjoy the, I don't know what you would call it, the title choreography of it's like a kaleidoscope and it doesn't convey much to me. It's smoke and shadows, which like that feels like a man with a golden gun. Here's my gymnasium of mirrors. Come play. So that was
I can see that. I thought with the smoke and stuff, they were trying to, I forget the name of them, but the ink blot tests, they were named after someone. I kind of saw that, but then when you mentioned the kaleidoscope, I was like, oh yeah, why did they have kaleidoscopes like that?
It just kind of feels like that feel of it. It matches in all the quadrants. So it's just a
perfectly
choice.
Symmetrical and
10 seconds of intro. I think it doesn't signify much other than
there are some odd choices in imagery that I'll agree to. Like, they show ruins at one point, I think, I was always like, what is that? Maybe. Is that in reference to something? Or, this is so strange because I'm thinking about, I think it was A View to a Kill. The opening credits were like an acid trip. And we just kept cutting to different images and now they're skiing and now lasers and now there's black light and
I think
this is so close to that and yet it's so polished that I can totally forgive the fever dream.
Music to help you just just settle in and eat your popcorn.
Yeah, have a good time. Like, Bond's dead. We got a whole movie. Like,
Be amazing if they stayed dead for a little bit longer. Be like,
yeah.
hold on, when is Bond gonna show up? Twist.
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to remember when he showed up. Because it's like
over the actual intro, which isn't like we don't have to go revisit it, but some of my criticisms in this will be watching it on a smaller screen. The CGI has not aged as great. The Bond on a motorcycle on the rooftop just feels so cut into it. The bomb at MI6 makes sense. You can't blow up the actual building.
Yeah.
But
the scorpion on his hand when he's drinking in the bar.
They tried. I think it looks all right, but it has not aged perfectly, I'd say.
I'll admit we're in a period where I have become a lot more forgiving of CG. Because, okay, I think it was in the trailer footage, so hopefully I'm not giving too much away, but I went and saw Fantastic Four, and there's one point where they're driving the Fantastic car, and they make this quick turn and brake, and Sue Storm starts stepping out, and it's just like 1 or 2 frames. It's not even that noticeable, but it's just like this awkward transition of her getting onto the street, but it looking like she's still seated, so she should be moving with the car, and she's not. And so, like, it, and yet, like, I only barely caught it, and everything, the whole movie is CG, and I don't even think about it. I'm just like, let me live in that world for a while. And I did the same with this one, like, even with some of the dated CG, I was like, okay, he's got a scorpion on his hand. I believe it.
That one I think looked a little bit better. The movement on the motorcycle didn't match. So
yeah.
Anyway, we can jump to the after intro.
Yeah, because really it's really just an action sequence for the true opening, and it's so much fun. It is directly related to the rest of the story. And yet it's also not, because we don't know how long Bond is gone. Like, we come back for the funeral, and then life continues as normal until terrorism happens. And when we see Bond, we don't know how long he's been hanging out on the beach, getting drunk and just living his life. Like, time has
been
passed.
a while.
Yep. Yeah. Could have been months, could have been days, could have been hours. Like, we don't know how much time has passed, except that it's enough time for everyone to believe that Bond is dead and for Bond to grow a beard.
Whatever what do you call it? The minimum in their policies to be like, all right, he's MIA, so now he did get shot, so we're assuming he's dead.
No body recovered, but he is presumed dead. So yeah, then we're following what's going on in MI6, where someone is trying to get into that hard drive. This is what makes me think it could be a short period of time, but then the fact that Bond is like lazing about and has kind of created a small life for himself wherever he is, that makes me think it could be like a few weeks, maybe. Like, I don't know how long it takes to deliver a hard drive, but they have.
I bet you could maybe figure out something based on where he was, which is dry and humid, and then however it is in London when he comes back. Because I think it's yes, cold and gray, but I think you could probably get a sense of a season, because then they leave at the end, and it maybe they just go up to the mountains, but it feels like winter.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is not winter, I can assure you. I watched it again because I was like, it is so foggy. And then I realized there's no snow on the ground. But it might be winter because there's a frozen lake. So I don't know. This place goes all over.
Yeah, there's a frozen lake that somehow the exit from the building goes around because then the old guy and M are by the other whatever. I kind of lost track of where the tunnel was supposed to go, but there's a lake that Bond is on.
I got the impression that it's
2 hours
miles. Yeah, we gotta get back on track. We are so off. Anyway, someone is trying to hack into the hard drive. M is, she's got her best office people on the job, including her number 2 person whose name I always forget in this movie. Tanner? Yeah, thank you.
He gets a little bit of characterization in this one.
Oh yeah, he's all over this movie, and he's trying to look the action part, and I never buy it for even 1 second. There's a moment where he's staring into the camera, and I think he wants to look intimidating, and I think he looks bored, and I'm just like, oh boy, the British stare. It's not as scary as they think it is. It's just a little bit bored. Anyway, Tanner is with M, and they find out that someone is trying to decrypt the drive. They try to counter hack them, and then much like GoldenEye with the spike, the hackers counter hack.
Hacking.
Yeah, it's all that computer mumbo jumbo that the kids are into. But nonetheless, some cops pull over M for some reason. She gets out of the car to yell at the cops for pulling over a government vehicle because she's above the law. And then her building explodes.
Yeah, it was a good introduction to say, well, M, by this time, definitely has skeletons in her closet. And it's okay. So it feels like, okay, this is the point. M is going to be under attack, but I think eventually it feels like you realize the bad guy knew that she wouldn't be at her desk where he was hacking, routing his traffic through or whatever. So she can see. I am
conflicted on that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think because he chose her desk, I think that he might have thought that he was going to kill her. Like, I think in his head, he was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it here. But he had these... I get a lot of Joker vibes from him, so I get these, like... if that fails, then here's the contingency. And if the contingency fails, here's another contingency. And so he's got a very long game of chess planned out, all the way down to the last fine detail. But any point in his plan, he might accidentally succeed and get it done.
It's various options, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can see that because then I think they say on M's side they think that's why. So it's never confirmed by Silva that he didn't want to kill her at that moment.
Yeah. When he loses his mind, then he's going to become very protective of her. But
yeah,
when we first meet him, he's got some semblance of sanity. And he seems to be thinking that he's got everything in control. And it's only when he comes face to face with M that he starts to fall apart. Even though he's still got a really great plan. It's just he's starting to lose his mind now that he has seen the person he has been planning his revenge against for so long. Which again points to the Count of Monte Cristo. There's a point where he almost fails because... he wants to jump the gun.
And Silva, is much like Vesper in that he does not show up until about an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
Isn't awful, but,
This is what's so crazy to me. He is so impactful to this movie and such a great villain. And we don't see him until halfway through. The beginning of this movie is a mystery. This is all MI6 trying to figure it out. Yeah, exactly. So Bond hears the news of the attack and decides to come back home, but he is in rough shape. I don't know if a shave and a shower is going to be enough to clean up this guy. He is out of commission and proves it by taking a terrible physical test.
Yeah, he collapses by the end of it. It's
Yep.
interesting.
It is.
How long should it have been for him to be that out of shape?
Exactly.
Yes, he did get shot. Yes, he still has shrapnel in that spot, but like his heart didn't get hit by shrapnel. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And as the second thing is, the first bullet hits him in the shoulder, chest. Where in the world does the second one hit? We never know.
Yeah, and I don't think we ever see the scar for it, because they make a big deal about the scar that Patrice gave him, because that's the one he has to cut open to get the shards out of. That's going to start his lead, and frankly, it's going to start his healing process. He needed to get rid of the shards to actually heal.
I mean,
so
sure, yes. I'm sure MI6 probably could have helped him out a little bit easier with that.
Well, and this is
Take care
where
of that.
a lot of people start making a big deal about Bond's age, in particular M and Mallory. Mallory in particular is very bent out of shape about how old M or 007 is. And M is like, look, he failed, but we're going to put him out there because I'm just as stubborn as he is. And dang it, we're putting him out there. This is the part of the movie that annoys me the most. Just this whole opening of like, gosh, Bond, look how old you are.
But nobody will tell him, so that Silva can tell him that they all know you're too old to be doing this, and that's a betrayal. Yeah, I can agree. It only serves the purpose for Silva to use later, I guess.
And it is a good revelation because it shows, Silva. Oh, God, I want to get to him so bad because he's such a fascinating character. But what I will say about him is that he thinks he is Bond's equal. And by the end of this movie, we are going to learn that he is not at all. But, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We haven't even come close to meeting the guy. We're still figuring out how on earth someone was able to bomb MI6 in London. MI6 has to have this underground facility. It's bare bones. Bond can really only be there for his physical test. He has to meet his quartermaster, but he's not going to meet his quartermaster there. Like, you got to get out of here. There's not enough space to have extra people in the room.
All of the Q equipment. Yeah, I can see as a logical in-universe explanation. He gets to meet Q at a museum. But that's just such a nice, small vignette of, Bond and Q get to address the youth and old theme, I guess, of this whole thing.
Yeah, it's kind of the reverse of old Q. Literally old Q.
I mean, maybe there's something to be said that the movie deals with, like, mortality because of retirement and youth and Q.
Yeah. Like, I think by the end of this movie, I am fully on board, and you guys are going to hear just how on board with it I am. But in, like, real world me watching this movie, I keep thinking, like, this dude hasn't even been Bond for a decade yet. Like, let the guy cook. Like, come on. Like, we're already retiring him. So, like, that was my nuisance, but the overall themes of the story and the plot are so perfect. And if they really were thinking after Quantum of Solace relatively bombed compared to Casino Royale, if they really were thinking maybe it's time to put Bond away for a decade or so, this would have been a wonderful swan song for the franchise. But then it did gangbusters. They're like,
billion.
Yeah. Like, we got to keep making these.
We need another billion.
Mm-hmm. So I'm fine with what they were going for and, living with it at the time. And just frankly, a good story is a good story. And I'm already into this story. And I do really like our new Q. I think their introduction where they're teasing each other and a little bit antagonistic towards each other, I don't need it, especially because in the next scenes he shines so brightly. But at the same time, we got to meet him at some point, and why not meet him now? Yeah. And
a nice setup meet where it's not introduced on purpose. So their banter is fun, and it's like sparring, and they get to size each other up in that Q is smart, but he's not a field agent. It feels a little like the Mission Impossible Benji character in Tom Cruise, whereas his tech guy is very silly and comical. Q, the new Q, is young and smart and concedes the fact, knows enough that he's not going to be someone that pulls the trigger. So we need Bond or someone. It does feel like he is somewhat dismissive of needing someone to be the hitman, but it feels like Bond helps him understand and be like, well, someone needs to. It can't just be tech people.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, we only get 2 pieces of tech for this movie. We get
a gun.
Yep. And the latest thing from Q Branch, a radio. Reminiscent of the old Goldfinger.
Was it Goldfinger?
Yeah. So that was when he had the 2 radio trackers, one that was magnetized to go on a car, and then one that was shoe-sized to go in his boots, so that he could be completely ignored by the CIA. Thanks, Felix.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't track me.
He's just hanging out with a pretty dame. Oh, God, that movie. But, it's not the exact same design, but it's harkening back. And a lot of the stuff in this movie is going to harken back because we're 50 years old now. Like, this franchise has been around for half a century. So why not have a couple of subtle throwbacks to the franchise, beginning with a brand new Walter PPK and a small radio. And I like it. Like, I'm good with it. Compared to our 40th anniversary, where it was, oh gosh, how did I forget what
2002?
It was called? Yeah, Die Another Day with the windsurfing and...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think the windsurfing feels like the grand scale of Bond can do anything, and this one is... I feel like they became less concerned with him being able to windsurf on an iceberg-caused wave, and more trying to keep it around the plot. Like, he doesn't need to do super cool stuff, but if he gets into a subway train coming after him situation, he'll survive it. Whereas it's believable that somebody else might not.
Yeah, yeah. I also feel like a lot of this movie kind of tells us that Bond can still be pretty incredible without being over the top.
Yeah.
And, where Tomorrow Never Dies. I've already forgotten the name of that stupid movie, Die Another Day. Where that movie just kept trying to be like, and more, and also throwback and throwback. This one feels more planned. It almost feels like the 50th anniversary was more of a coincidence. Like they had already made or planned to make a really good movie, and then they were like, oh, by the way, the franchise is 50 years old. Let's just throw in like 3 references and then we'll be good. Like, that's it.
You didn't mention if this was based on any books.
It is not. The only one in the Daniel Craig era that is based on a book is Casino Royale.
Okay.
That was it. And that was
I can see it being a reason because the books were in a different time period and Bond is now in the 2020s or something.
Well, 2010s, and it's definitely the age of Anonymous and hackers and all that stuff. I mean, the Sony breach happened. Wasn't that like 2011? Maybe 2010?
No idea. I did not care that much about it.
Oh, I did. I was on PS3 at the time because that, it was the PS3 days, and we were offline, I think, for close to 6 months. And I didn't have a gaming computer. I didn't have anything like that. And admittedly, PlayStation Network at that time was free. So you weren't paying for anything. You were just losing access to playing online. So I could play all of my single player games. But I couldn't play Call of Duty with my friends. So so hackers are a big deal at this time, and I don't think they would have even been a consideration for Ian Fleming, but I think it would have been right down Ian Fleming's alley. I think he would have loved it,
Yeah, I agree.
So there, blah blah blah, is
blah,
where
blah,
we
blah.
are with that.
We made it to the underground lair. We made it through Bond failing his physical. We
made it to the Q, and Q gives him a ticket to Shanghai.
Oh right, Shanghai.
So we do have a lead.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. I was trying to Shanghai is not the gambling place.
Not
Shanghai
yet.
is where Patrice is.
Exactly.
Which makes me think of How I Met Your Mother. The Patrice in there. Patrice.
This stunt actor looks so familiar. I think he's a stunt actor. Maybe he's a real...
He doesn't have any lines, so it's possible. I mean,
yeah, but he's in so much of the movie. He's such a big deal as a character. Ola Rapace. Let me look him up real fast. Yeah, he's only been in a few movies. He's not really... He is an actor, so he's not a stunt person as I had thought, but he's also, or he was until 2011, he was related to Numi Rapace, who I think is incredible.
Oh, the one lady.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's how you said her name.
I think that's how you say it.
I've never heard any interviews of how you say her name.
I could be totally wrong.
No. I've never heard it, so I don't know.
And I don't want to look it up. I just assumed. I was just sitting here thinking it could be totally wrong. So anyway, he is an actor. He's not a stunt man. I don't think he speaks in this movie. It could be because he doesn't speak any English anyway. But he looks very good in this part, and for the first half of this movie, he's kind of the main villain for Bond. And when they come to the hotel for his mission, it's a pretty intense scene, and it's for me it's when the movie takes a turn.
Yeah, I think Bond has some good tailing methods while he's trying to follow after Patrice, and it's got great tension and great lights, and I don't really care what the other assassin's job is, but it's gonna happen. Bond isn't there to stop that, he's there to get this guy.
That's so funny.
It's okay, well, I'm not in charge of what's going on over there, but I need to talk to this guy. So, you wait until your friend gets off work and then you give him a call.
He could have stopped him. He could have, kicked the gun. He could have tried to take the gun. Could have started the fight sequence at any moment, and then some dude doesn't have to die. We don't know anything about the target, the assassination. Yeah. We only know that there's this gorgeous woman with smoky eyes across at another skyscraper. And we don't even follow her as a lead. It's purely coincidental that we see her again at all.
Right. Yeah. She shows up again. I do like that Bond kind of pulls a Batman and disappears when she's trying to stare at him. It's like, so Bond, he does still have something. Like
yeah, especially because he
old.
failed with Patrice. Like, he's holding Patrice with his right hand because he's right-handed. And remember, Patrice shot him in the right shoulder. And that's the wound that he's still recovering from. It's the reason he can't fully hold on to the elevator he's riding all the way up the skyscraper. I get sweaty palms just thinking about that elevator ride.
I had forgotten so many things of, I guess, I'm glad that they did it, but I didn't remember that Bond would have had pain in that arm. I thought he just kind of, that arm got tired in particular, but that makes sense. That's the arm he got shot in. Like, well, and it didn't like make him limp with it or anything. So
he is in recovery, and it's not going to be an issue anymore in the movie. Like, frankly, it kind of stopped being an issue once he got those bullet shards out of his shoulder. That was when the recovery truly began. And now he's still too weak to hold Patrice as he dangles from the skyscraper. And so Bond's desperately trying to be like, tell me who you're working for, who hired you, who has the list. Tell me anything, because you are going to die, because I can't hold you anymore. And Patrice just drops. Yeah. I don't know why I like it when Bond fails, but when he does, it really, like, it makes me think, wow, like, he is not perfect. He's not a superhero. He's a human being who might have Domino's superpower of super luck. And this version of Bond, if he has a genuine superpower, it is reading people, which will come up very soon. But for now, he has failed. He's watching this gorgeous woman across the way who just stood there when a dude got shot. So from his perspective, he's like, she's a baddie. Yeah. In all the ways. Yeah, man. 2020's slang. I know what a baddie is. And she's one of them.
Yeah. I think, not knowing that she reappears, it was like, okay, well, he didn't get much information then. But he does find a coin in a
poker chip,
the sniper rifle box bag thing, and so he figures out where that goes. I can't remember if he takes it to Eve to figure that out or what.
He goes back to his hotel because he knows what he's going to do with it. Like, he's got it ready to go. But while he was on mission, the first 5 names had been released, and at least one agent who was undercover has been killed, and it was on the news. So Eve is sent unrelated. She is sent to be like, hey, guess what? The news is worse. You need to get on this. And Im is so upset about it that she's sending me to do backup. You remember me, the person who shot you last time? But Eve is awesome. Eve is an amazing character who is absolutely ready for field work. And so I'm good with Eve being here. And it's arguable if they actually sleep together. I just wanted to point that out. We don't know.
I don't, is that where the shaving part comes in? Because it's not in the wiki, and I'm like, I recall this, but it's unclear whether that happens, and I mean, the movie doesn't suffer for it. But
exactly.
It does make it like, well, later on the reveal makes it feel like that could be a reason why they would eventually spar with each other in other movies.
Or why they would flirt so hard as they often do. Maybe. Yeah. So, maybe they did, or maybe they didn't. And that's the other thing. Because it's never explicitly said, it allows us, the audience, to have that conversation, to be like, did they or didn't they? Like, what kind of relationship do they have? This is a hard reboot. This isn't the same.
Yeah.
But she also kind of is. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's, oh, dang it. I revealed. I'm sorry. I might have to bleep every time we say the last name. Eve. Oh, no.
I haven't yet.
So I might have to bleep myself. I'll have to find a bleeping sound effect so that I can.
It was just the scene just kind of stuck out as a like partial seduction of. It felt like Strawberry Fields without it saying, "Oh yeah, they actually did do stuff." No, as we only get. She tries to shave his face, and
when they go to the casino, it's still nighttime. So I don't think they stayed until morning. I think they went immediately that evening. So I don't know. There's a good argument for no. There's a good argument for yes.
Yeah, but at the casino, they're still chatting each other up, and their banter is fun and light.
It's so good.
Meets
it like
the Severine lady again.
But I don't want to skip over Eve and Bond banter. Like, yes, it is banter, but the way it's shot. And frankly, we kind of glossed over it. The Shanghai skyscraper assassination, the way that was shot. There are just some parts that are so
mentioned how pretty
done.
it is.
Yeah, like it is so good. And in this particular one in the casino, we are tracking on Bond, but we're listening to a conversation between Eve and Bond. And in the background, Eve is walking and talking and being a part of things. Like, oh, it looks so good. And when they cross paths again and we go out of walkie-talkie volume to human real life volume. Oh, I love it. It's gorgeous. It's incredible. It's a cut above anything this franchise has given us in the past. Like, it's a true work of art.
It's a nice little innovation. I remember enjoying the two things happening at once in the universe, and it sounds like that's about how you enjoyed
This is my two things happening at once in the universe innovation. Them walking and talking with one of them in the background and one of them in the foreground and crossing paths and changing volumes and their sound effects. Like my brain exploded. So, but yes, Bond cashes in the chip, which is going to kick off the events, and Severin is going to approach Bond, which is still a little weird to me. I'm going to just say it's a little weird.
Well, she approaches before or after he gets the money? Because
after
she's like,
he
I was
gets
wondering
the money.
who's going to... Yeah.
But...
He cashes in the chip, gets the money. Then she's like...
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Hi.
Yes. Well, when Bond cashes in the chip, security is called. We see the security guard who's like, ah, ha, ha, we found it. And it just turns out Severin is there, like you said, because she's curious. And I'm sitting here, like, for later on in the movie, thinking, why does she get permission to do that? Like, if she's under control, why were these guys who are controlling her be like, yeah, it's a good idea. You come with us. We're going to go see. Unless she said, I saw the guy. I don't know. We don't get to see the story from the perspective of the Count of Monte Cristo this time. We're seeing it from the other side.
Yeah. I think their conversation may not be very complex, but it gives them each a chance to talk over the villain and motivations on her side. Like, it's not an awful conversation.
See, and I'm the opposite in that I think it's a brilliant conversation.
Oh, I mean, as it is not awful.
I know, and I think it's brilliant. I think it's more than not awful. I think this is 10 out of 10 scene. Like, we've always had the let's talk about the story scene so that we can get the audience caught up. and we can figure out where this story's supposed to go. Dang it. Who's the baddie that I'm supposed to chase? That's been in almost every movie, and in almost every one of them, it's laughable. It's so badly done. And in this one, it's perfect. It's so natural. It's so good. And when he shows off his superpower of being able to read people, and he reveals her whole backstory, and her face just totally shifts, like both of them acting against each other. It was perfect. It was perfect.
It wasn't awful. I mean, it was okay.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
I will justify what I'm meaning to convey, because it doesn't, aside from like the backstory for her, like it doesn't feel like Bond does. Like, he is looking for her employer, but I don't feel like he says much to what would you say, to prompt her. Like, she wants him to kill the guy because he reveals her backstory, that she's been controlled and enslaved, I'd say. But like, he killed the one guy, accidentally dropped him, shows up with the money, but I mean, maybe she just goes for his confidence in that, yeah, I can kill him. Somebody ends up dead. It's like, you don't sound super confident. Yeah. Like,
I mean, the movie, okay, I'll give you that. Like, we have to allow the movie to convince us that she really is desperately trying to get out of this situation. And I'm gonna continue to say it, you know, when we don't get to see the Count of Monte Cristo's side of the story, we don't know what's happening with all of the bad guys. We only get to see their faces briefly. So for all we know, Patrice was just as terrified as Severin, but he's dead. He won't be telling anyone. And so maybe everyone who works for or with Silva puts on a brave, scary face because they're scared that they're going to get murdered at any given moment. Sure. But we don't get to know that. We don't ever get to see his side of the story, because I don't think... And that's me reading into this thing as a totally different story than maybe it wants to be. And that might be a good criticism of the movie, but I love it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, she warns them. She's like, you're going to have another action scene. It's coming up. Like,
it's coming.
Literally in 2 minutes.
Enjoy the beginning of him fighting the other guards, because it's like, I remember the first time watching it, it's like, it's like, this is a misunderstanding. I'm going to set down the case, but then uppercuts the one guy with it. It's like, that would work so well.
And he uses it as a weapon on all three of them. Like, he hits all three dudes with that case before the big dude gets back up and tackles him over the banister. And then he drops it. One of oh snap, when you misremember something in history, like it's named after the South African president who everybody thought was dead. Mandela. Thank you. So the Mandela effect in this movie is people remembering that the case opened and that money went flying. Money never goes flying.
I never.
Case stays
heard
closed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It gets relatively gently put down before Bond gets toppled over the thing. And he has never used his brand new high-tech Q gun to shoot anyone. He's pointed it at a few people, but now someone else has it, and they realize that they can't use it because they don't have the right palm print. And then Bond loses that gun forever.
Yeah. I was like, does he... I feel like he gets another gun at some point.
Every gun he gets is stolen. He's his personal gun that Q had said, please make sure all of this comes back in one piece, is gone. It's in the belly of a Komodo dragon.
Seems like it's a interesting little like dragon exhibit or whatever. They got all these candles down there for them. Who lights the candles, guys? Come on.
Apparently these things are human eaters.
Apparently.
Yeah. I don't know if that is actually true of Komodo dragons. I don't think they're like crocodiles. I don't think they'll go after anything they see.
Yeah.
I think they're more like other lizards where they mostly just kind of want to sit on a rock and bake in the sun for a while, and then they'll get up and eat maybe like a bird or a small mammal and then do it again. So this is not the best exhibit for any Komodo dragons. And these ones live in caves, apparently. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's a set piece to get Bond to lose his stuff and gamble away the money. He crawls back up and tells you
did it too. It's impossible, isn't it?
Tells Eve to put it on red or black, one of the two.
Yeah, red.
I can't remember.
Put it all on red. Because I remember thinking of that. Of course, she doesn't have to. Like, sure. She doesn't have to do whatever he says. Like, technically, she has revealed that she's loyal to Mallory. Like, Mallory, him necessarily, but Mallory was like, look, I'm concerned about Bond. Get him up to speed. And so she's in there singing his praises. I could see her being like, okay, I put it all on red and somehow won the exact amount of money that I bet, and I turned it into the Treasury Department. Because that's the type of person I think Eve would be, just from this little bit of a movie that we get to meet her. But
I mean, I don't know roulette to know about. If you did just split the money in half and did red and black, would you make less than you put in?
I think you would get exactly the same. I think it's an even payout for red and black. So betting $1 earns you $1. So if you were to bet $2, one on red and one on black, you would get back $2 at the end of the day. And so you will have done nothing with your money.
Interesting.
Yeah. Roulette is one of those games where, like, all over the table there are different odds and therefore different payouts. And the biggest payouts are usually related to the individual numbers. But you can make a bet on odds and evens, and I think it's similar to the reds and blacks where it's like, it's a different, it's a 50-50 payout, but I think there's more evens than odds, so it might be, I don't know. I don't do roulette. It's not a fun game to me. I prefer to have cards in my hand. Like, that's fun to me when it comes to gambling. Sure.
Well, she could have kept any amount of money.
Exactly. We'll never know
the rest.
Because Bond is on his way to go to a boat. I do like that Severin, when one of the goons comes in to say we're getting ready to leave, she looks sad. Like, she gets excited by the knock at the door. And then, of course, it's not Bond. Like, Bond's not going to knock on the door and reveal himself.
No, he's not. He does not. But
nope.
I think I missed this initial spot where she's waiting. She's all out of her getup and all of, like, I don't know about all of her makeup, but her face is back to like a normal person.
She's still so gorgeous.
Objectively, still gorgeous.
So gorgeous. Sure. Oh my gosh. So often but with the smoky eyes, like, you're like, oh wow, she is hot. And then the smoky eyes go away and you're like, what happened?
Well, I think the what do you call it? Sympathetic feel is she's chilling in like her what do you call it, robe, and she's got some champagne or hopefully something that tastes better and 2 glasses, and it's like, well, she was hoping that he'd live, and he eventually does show up, but only after she's decided to go take a shower.
Shows up at the creepiest time possible.
Yeah, like that. it could have been cuter if you did show up when she was waiting for you after the bad guy closes the door. Like, I would have liked that.
There's
much
another
more than
door
what we got.
that's wide open, and I just keep thinking, oh man, how cute would it be if Bond had come in through that open door that we see in the background, like, and then Bond's there. But no, he has to do it in the creepiest way possible. Like, yes,
So,
it's
points off
kind
for
of
that.
sexy and blah blah blah, but I agree, like,
little.
so creepy.
It would have been better sexy if he had shown up and been like, I don't know, partially interested, not just for her employer. I feel like that's the crux of Bond, is he'll show up because you gave him information about what, like, you are now giving him a ride to your employer, which is a bad move on your part, but Bond profits from it. So
Well, and
it just didn't feel great.
at the same time, that's part of the characterization that they want us to have for the character of Bond, is that he is not a good person, especially with women, and especially after Vesper. Like, that's the other thing with Daniel Craig as Bond. His love of his life was killed, and that was supposed to break something in him as a character. And it, broke in some ways that are a little creepy and gross, and in other ways that are super awesome and actiony.
Yeah.
So
I can give you that.
yeah.
So they're there in a shower together, and then
And
they're
then he gets
on the top
out.
of the boat.
Yeah, like, he goes out to the front of the boat for all the baddies to see. They've all got their guns trained on him, and he's just like, oh, by the way, I'm here too.
Seems like you snuck in, but then also seems like you don't care if they know that you snuck on. So they
weird.
make it to the island, and they're both still handcuffed, and so they get led to different ways, and it's like...
But we do gotta point out that Bond did turn on his tracker. Like, he was good enough to be like, now I might die.
Well.
Yeah, like, this might be the end of me. I'm gonna turn on the tracker so that I will have backup coming. And that backup is going to be way better than Felix Leiter of the CIA, thankfully. But yeah, they get caught and immediately tied up and immediately brought in different directions. And the whole time, Severin is just revealing as much information as she can, which is not much, but like, she's like, I know I'm caught. I know you're caught. But you said that people usually die when you're around, so I guess I'll just tell you everything I can before we're
I'll die.
Yeah, like...
yeah. I mean, I think from them talking, which you give a 10 out of 10, to meeting Silva is probably one of the lesser parts of the movie. Silva and Bond is great, but between the Severin and Bond and Silva and Bond is
I'll agree
exposition
with you
and a bridge.
Yeah, like, it's an interesting scene. It's not my favorite, and it's not my favorite because we've just had Bond and Severin with a really incredible talk in the bar, kind of fun action scene, very creepy lovemaking scene, and then this incredible monologue and followed up by dialogue where Raul Silva steps from an elevator, and the whole time he's walking, he's telling us the story of what to do when you have rats on an island. And it's this long story about, using coconuts as bait and putting it on a hinged lid. And then as the rats come in for the coconuts, they fall and get trapped. And
it builds so, at least to me, it seemed like it built so innocently, like, collecting the rats, and the rats, somebody's going to pick them up and we're going to kill the rats. And then it turns and it's like, so the rats kill each other because they're starving. And at the end, there's two. And now you have rats that like to kill rats. And it's like, is that true? I don't care. It sounds
so
terrifying.
Yeah. It's so brutal that, like, I'm with you. I don't care if it's real. It is such a good story that I'm just like, wow. And it becomes the story of Silva versus Bond in Silva's eyes. He's always like, we are the last two rats, and we're going to have to figure out if we're going to eat each other and continue eating other rats, or are we going to turn on the farmers?
He just wanted to find a friend. He got betrayed, and he's like, all right, I'm going to do this now. And he's like, oh wait, Bond got betrayed. Do you think we could start a bowling league?
Yeah, Silva, he obsesses over Bond, but he doesn't know everything about Bond. And that's one of the things that I love about this character. So he's dyed his hair and eyebrows blonde because he wants to be more like our blonde James Bond.
I didn't get that at all.
Yeah,
but I see it.
It's a really bad dye job, and he knows everything about Bond's history. He thinks he knows everything about Bond's history. He certainly knows that Bond failed his medical exam. So he knows everything that's on record at MI6, which is not everything. But Silva thinks he knows everything about 007. And he knows that 007 is very straight. And so when Silva tries to make him uncomfortable by trying to seduce him, Bond just sits there calmly and says, who says it's my first time? Like, let's go, baby. Get this rope off of me. I'll bang you like I bang everyone, and then I'll kill you anyway. Like,
yeah, that was like, what exactly is going on here? But then, like, Bond manages to essentially defuse that attempt at interrogation. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, I'm not, other than turning Bond, I'm like, what are you trying to get from Bond? Like,
I genuinely think that's it. I think Silva's first flaw in his plan is believing that he can turn 007, thinking that he is an equal to 007. And so when he goes outside to show off how evil he is by killing Severin, and then Bond murders all of his henchmen right in front of him so quickly and so spectacularly. I don't love Severin's death. I don't love that she doesn't fall. No. She just stands there dead. Frankly, I don't love that she dies at all. I think she's such an interesting character that it kind of makes me mad that this is the end of her.
It's so unceremonious. Mm-hmm. Like, she was cooler than the last two beats of her story. Yeah. So I can't remember. There was another villain lady that died.
It was Tomorrow Never Dies, because it was the one where you kept calling him Tim Apple, and he sent his wife to go seduce Bond and then immediately killed his wife.
She dies. Maybe not that one, but the earlier one where she was a good villain.
Volpa?
I think Volpa.
Because Volpa was like a legit great villain in Thunderball, who I genuinely loved. Bond gets away, and then they're dancing in the club, and Bond like turns her body so that she takes a bullet for him. So she also doesn't make it to the end of the movie, but she was a legit good villain. Should have been the main villain. I'm gonna, that'll be the hill I die on. Still love Volpa. I want a remake of Thunderball with Volpa as the main villain. But nonetheless, Silva has been captured. And as I mentioned before, he's kind of got this Joker thing going on where he's got contingency after contingency. His first failed plan was to blow up M inside of MI6. He had a contingency where he was going to turn 007. At least that's what I'm presuming he had in his head. Or this was a legitimate surprise to him. And now that he's captured, he doesn't know what to do. Except he does, because he has another contingency plan for if he gets captured, what to do next. And that's to show off some freaky CGI with his face.
I'll say, of all the complaints I have about CGI, I didn't disapprove of that one. Mm-hmm. It felt off-putting, but it
Yeah.
didn't feel like obviously fake, but it didn't feel super fake.
I'm with you there.
Because he takes, so like, I don't know if you described it, he talks about breaking a cyanide capsule and it just annihilating his insides, but
not fully working.
not actually killing him.
Yeah. Where
So then he takes out this prosthetic like crowns out of his teeth.
yeah,
and
almost looks like a
his face
denture,
just-
but it's more
Yeah.
than a denture, like because it's got a false cheek on it as well. Like ooh.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's a fully CG slumping of his face, but it looks so good. Like
Yeah, it does. If they spent all the time on that, they made it good for years into the future.
yeah, like we know it's CG. We're smart enough to know that doesn't change the fact that it's grotesque and horrible to look at, and really drives home the point that this man has been driven by revenge. Because he probably also blames her for the fact that his cyanide pill was a dud, relatively speaking. It did damage, but it didn't kill him. And he's had to live his whole life knowing that the one thing that was supposed to take all the pain away just created more.
Yeah. Well, when Silva is captured, he does get a little bit of like a Joker laugh in one point, but that feels like he knows his contingency is going to work. He gets stretching and ready to run out of his cell once his hard drive decrypts and does something hackery and hacks them.
And it opens...
That's a bit of the movie magic.
Opens some doors in the floor of Q branch, and that tells Bond that other doors have opened, and so therefore he's getting away. But why were there doors in Q branch at all, especially on the floor? Like that's one of those images that stands out as kind of being a stinker in this movie. Not enough for me to take a full point away, but every time I think about it, I'm like, I know Bond needs to know that something is happening, but why are there doors on the floor? And why did they open? And why doesn't anyone ever do anything about it? They just stay open.
Yeah. I think maybe it's a suggestion that the tunnels from the war footing are still underneath wherever they are. It doesn't quite make sense, but something had to open to cue Bond off. So.
When Bond gets there, we also see that the doors are open in the prison area, plus there's a door open to the tunnels underground. So clearly, this was one of those contingency plans that was just like, open all the doors. I don't know which door I'm going to be locked in. Just open every door and keep them open. And then I'll get away, and that'll be how I do it. But yeah, that's the one thing about it that throws me off. But it's fine because the chase is so great. Where
it's not awful.
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls.
I know. No, I enjoy it. It's got a fun disguise. He dresses up like a police officer. We don't know exactly what's happening.
There's not a lot of gunshots.
The
There's not a lot of running. It's kind of slower paced compared to so many other chases, but it's so crowded, and you've got Q and Bond yelling at each other. You've got M currently being yelled at by a bunch of secretaries from Parliament. And so all this stuff is happening, and it's frantic, and we know that M is out in public, and we know that Silva is dressed as a cop, and we know that Bond doesn't really know where he is. He just keeps kind of getting a little bit lucky. He does have Q helping him out as much as Q can. The finding of Silva in the tunnel when Silva left a door open, that's pure luck. But that's that domino superpower that Bond has. But I genuinely, I genuinely like it. Last movie, Quantum of Solace, we had a crowded area with a chase that tried to be frantic and fast-paced with a lot of cuts. A civilian got shot by the bad guy. everything was happening at once. And now we've got almost the same setup, except clean shots so we can follow everything as an audience. But it's still, overwhelming in terms of what's happening. And we didn't have to kill any civilians to do it.
It's very appreciated too. Even though, even with all the people, we get to follow what is being seen without the shaky cam shots. So yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah. The only really over-the-top sequence is when Bond finally catches up to Silva, sends a couple of warning shots, and I'm of two minds on this. It's very silly to drop a train on someone. But it's also very cool whenever there's a callback and the villain is able to say, it's the latest thing that I've picked up. It's called a radio. Just like Bond had said to Silva back on Silva's fictional island. So I really do love and hate the way the scene concludes. But Silva gets away because he dropped a train on Bond. I don't know if there's anybody in the train. I don't know if anybody got hurt.
That's closer to Joker supervillain vibes. Very much. But yeah, it looked like the train was empty.
Yeah. So it's, it could legitimately be an empty train that Silva had just planned to use, because I don't know if he's a Joker level of supervillain where he would want to necessarily have a bunch of random deaths. In the very next scene, there will be a bunch of random deaths, and a few of them come directly from his hands. But I think he justifies it in his own head as being like, this is the actual target. I don't need to kill people getting to my target. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Just need a disturbance, and here's a giant train.
So let's drop it on top of our hero. It's a great image, little bit over the top, but we need a couple of over the top things. This is one of our most grounded movies. Kind of reminds me of when Timothy Dalton was chasing drug dealers in Afghanistan. There's not a lot of heavy stakes, except that there's someone with a personal grudge against MI6. But otherwise, no one's trying to take over the world or take over a natural resource. It's fairly low stakes.
Water.
But yeah, when Silva gets to the hearing, M has just given this really great speech about the types of enemies that MI6 has to chase today, which are not nations. They are not people with borders. They are just people. They could be anyone. And you don't see a uniform or a flag. You just see a gun or a bomb. And then who bursts in but Silva with a gun? And he starts shooting up a bunch of people dressed as a cop. It's so good.
See, I only question what was the plan. He was actually going to successfully abduct her.
I think he was going to kill her on television, in front of the whole world. The head of MI6 and maybe a few members of parliament were going to get assassinated. I think this was his third failed plan to take out M. He wanted to blow her up. He wanted to convert Bond. And he wanted to put a bullet in her. And he keeps failing, but he's also starting to lose his mind a little bit. So,
he could have shot her, and
he tried at least twice. One time he took out just a random dude who stood up in the way. The second time, Mallory grabbed her shoulder and pulled her away, and then he took a bullet in his own shoulder.
I could see it as him actually wanting to at least talk to her like he does when he does finally catch her at the end of the movie. Because he has stuff he wants to tell her. He's got grievances, and it's time he got to air them.
I mean, he got to air a little bit of them in MI6,
Yeah.
but she walked away, so he didn't get to say everything he wanted to say. And like I said, he's losing his mind, so maybe he does have a few more grievances that he actually does want to give. But now his plan's falling apart because Bond shows up and he's, tossing guns to Eve and to Mallory. Well, he doesn't toss a gun to Mallory. He provides cover fire so that Mallory can get a gun and prove that he's just as good in a fight as anyone else can be. Even with a bullet in his shoulder, but it's his left shoulder and he's right-handed. So, he's able to take out one of the bad guys. And then Bond shoots the fire extinguishers and ends the fight, forcing Silva to leave. But Silva will shoot one random dude on his way out. That's the weirdness to me.
One more guy. I almost thought it was maybe one of his guys because
like,
just a frustration or something. But,
someone running up and he just shoots him in the chest. Just takes him out. And, he's dressed as a cop, so I could also see like a reporter or civilian running up to be like, oh God, help me, help me, help me. And then blam, he's gone. So,
yeah.
But you did not like
that.
The rest of the movie from here.
I think the reflection, it probably is where it needs to be, where she thinks about her sins and like talks about Silva, and if we didn't already say it, this is M retiring from the Bond films. So to give her a send-off, it makes sense that it's here.
But keep in mind, this version of M has only been in 3 movies. I know that it's still Judi Dench, and she has been in a total of 7 movies, but this character of M is different than the Brosnan M.
And the other ones. Sure, we'll go with
That's
that.
the other hill I will die on. And it is showing up in the wrap-up episode, just so you know. I'm going to separate 2 Judi Dench's M's.
I think it is, I guess, a nice relief to some of the chase and everything, but the period of Silva getting caught to the policeman coming and firing also felt like a nice reprieve from the action movie. So then we get an action scene, but we had, 30 minutes beforehand of Silva being captured, and like even getting to the island, like the action scene at the gambling place to him and Silva firing at Severine.
I thought it was pronounced Severin, but I'm
trying to see the name.
I mean, it's got all these accents in it, and I've got a
Severin.
Little bit.
It makes sense. Between that spot and the cop spot, it's a quiet moment in the action movie, and we get the cop where he confronts M, but he doesn't quite he gets to escape. He fails. And so we get this much action for like an hour, and then the final action is great. So I think that might be my feel of it just gets so quiet and slow for a long time.
And I think what I love about it is there may have been a 4th contingency plan, or a 3rd, I guess. He had plan, contingency, and then Bond and M run away. He may have had more plans of like, and then if I fail, they're going to do this, and I'm going to respond by doing this. But Bond brilliantly says, we're getting off the map. We're going underground. You're not going to find us, but you need to leave a trail of breadcrumbs that only Silva could follow. And we're going to go to my childhood home, where we learn not only is reboot Bond canonically Scottish, but he was an orphan who met his parents. He was a wealthy child, lived in this manor, and his parents died when he was young, but not young enough to have forgotten them.
Yeah.
And that kind of adds to the trauma of M and MI6 picking children to train for this program.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again,
It is.
the picking children is from an old era, so I could be wrong on that. It may have been that he just had a chip on his shoulder and she noticed him during his military career, but he is canonically a Scottish orphan who knew his parents. It's kind of sad.
So, I mean, as we are getting to Skyfall, I don't have much else.
You didn't have a lot of notes left. Well, really quick, because we skipped over it completely because it wasn't a big reference, but the second 50 years of Bond reference in the movie was when Bond turned over the bullet shards from his shoulder, and he said, "For her eyes only." It's a minor reference to "For your eyes only." Okay. But the reason I bring that up is because we get our third and biggest reference to the old movies, and that is the Aston Martin DB5 with all of the gadgets from the old days.
It's a very pretty car. It's sad that they destroy it, but I do enjoy the last 30 minutes of action where they've prepped and all of the nooks and crannies of the house that Bond grew up in are used to stay safe and beat all of these other henchmen.
Oh, yeah. They make a bunch of booby traps. It's very Home Alone style. PSA to our American listeners, it is federally illegal to set up booby traps. You are not allowed to do that on your property, period. It is illegal in every state and all of the territories. And the reason for that is because what if there's like a firefighter or a paramedic who needs to enter the property because you're suffering from a heart attack or your place is on fire? They don't have the tools to shut off a booby trap.
Double check for that.
You have just killed people trying to save you. So, but the booby traps are cool, and we're going to see a bunch of them work in this thing.
Actually,
yeah. My only complaint in this whole thing is that they show that they have a very limited amount of rounds for their shotguns.
Oh, yeah.
And both Kincaid, the gamekeeper of the estate, as well as Bond, take practice shots. And I'm just like, guys, you don't have the rounds. And this is to show that Bond is fully healed. He is at 100% Bond by the end of the movie. The shoulder injury is no longer a concern. He's back to being a good marksman. I don't know why Kincaid had to shoot the wall. I guess to show us that he effectively sawed off the shotgun. Anyway, it works better. It's another little thing that kind of makes me go, oh, that's so dumb. But it's an action movie. You got to have action movie moments. And when the invasion starts, I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think it's a little over the top to come in with a giant helicopter, but this is the climax fight. So let's throw a giant cannon at
We
him.
gotta have it all. We gotta, this is still a Bond picture. We've gotta have something big happening. It wasn't enough to drop a subway a train on someone. We gotta drop a helicopter on a house. But before the helicopter even shows up, M does get shot. It's when the dudes are invading the house. Some of the booby traps, all of the booby traps go off. And all of them hit their targets. There's just more men than booby traps. And one of them gets a shot on M. She drops her gun. Bond immediately sees her and says, "Are you all right? Or are you hurt?" And she's like, "Only my pride." And that's a lie. That is a flat out lie. She got hit. But that's the point where Bond's like, uh-oh, there's a helicopter. Everybody take the tunnels. I'm going to stay here and kill a helicopter.
It'll work out. I can do it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
And then he proceeds to run into every grenade that Silva throws into the house.
I was trying to figure, like, would it seem like good sense that this spy knows where Bond would be most likely and just starts throwing the grenades in just those spots?
And it works out that Bond is in those spots and immediately has to panic and run away and you know, like narrowly avoid getting blown up again.
Until he has to set up the other explosives, and then nothing will hit him. Should be fine. Plus,
that's because Silva would never think that Bond would set up his own explosives. Although, to be fair, when he grabs the two canisters, Silva does throw a grenade into that room, and Bond is leaving the room when it goes off. So I guess Silva did throw a grenade. The domino powers just kicked in at that time. Yeah. But yeah, Bond sets up his final booby trap and
giant explosion. Yep. Take out the helicopter. I think it makes sense that would be a good way if you could fling enough rock at a helicopter to make it crash.
Oh, yeah. And I genuinely think it's an accidental helicopter kill. I think in Bond's head, he's like, all right, Silva's going to enter the house now, and I'm going to blow him up. And him killing the helicopter is one of those things where he's probably like, oh, cool. Because when he's in the tunnel and the explosion happens, there's one point where he stops and turns around. And maybe I'm just reading into it, but I get the impression that he's like, that's a bigger explosion than it should have been. And then, of course, he's able to dive to the side because, as we all know, fire never turns a corner. It's just impossible.
Yeah, goes forward.
Always forward. And maybe it does. I don't know. I don't know anything about fire. I've never been inside of an explosion. I don't know if there's a safe place to stand.
Yeah.
We get to more 10 out of 10 cinematography when Bond comes out of the tunnel and has to travel the mile or two to the chapel. Freaking Kincaid, being the big dumb galoof that he is, has a flashlight turned on while he's escorting M to the chapel. And of course, Silva and his goons can see that in the distance. It's miles away, but still, like, they're not carrying a limping person. So,
yeah.
Freaking Kincaid. Bond looks so cool in orange lighting as a shadow moving across the moors. He takes out one dude in physical combat, but leaves the guy's weapons behind because I guess he wants to be fast like Counter-Strike.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, why are you not picking that up? Oh, because that would mean that you have a gun to face off with, and why wouldn't you use the gun when you're on the lake? So you can look cool by getting the other guy's gun.
Yeah.
Yes, it does look cool. Yes, you are Bond. Okay, fine.
You have to just suspend the disbelief and accept the fact that it looks cool as hell to see a man without a rifle running around in the dark. But, you know, he doesn't need a gun because, as you said, once he gets out on the ice, there's no snow, but there is ice. He grabs the last henchman's gun, shoots a circle in the ice, and they both go down. Silva takes a couple of shots and realizes that, you know, there's nothing he can do. Maybe Bond is dead. Yep. It doesn't matter. He's got to go do his final revenge. I love the underwater fight. I think it looks incredible. I think everything in this movie looks incredible.
It's all very well cut on film.
Yes, very stylized. The infinitely large lake when Bond is at the bottom and he shoots the flare up to see the hole, and the lake is 1,000,000 times bigger than it was on the surface. I know it's not that big, but it looks cool as hell.
Yeah. Like, how cold would it have to be for that deep of a lake to have a walkable ice sheet on top of it? I don't know.
I genuinely don't. But I guess Scotland is cold. But Silva shows up, and he's finally fully lost his mind. He sees that M already is dying because she has been hit. And so he tries to convince her to do a suicide pact with Silva. But if you look at the way that he has angled the pistol, he is only killing M in this scenario. He is not taking the other end of that bullet.
I mean, lost his mind. I'm trying to, like, is there any way to say this is, like, if he had managed to aim at both of them, like, why do you also want to be dead?
Okay. I'm going to keep referencing other movies, and I don't even know the name of the movie that I'm referencing. But there was one of these army movies where someone joins the Marines, and during their like sign up process, the person signing them up says, "Congratulations, you're already dead." And they interpret this as like a very inspirational thing. Like, if you're already dead, then do whatever you can because you're already dead. Like, if you're already dead, then yeah, go storm that beach because you're already dead. Like, what are you going to lose? Your life? You already lost that. You signed up for the Marines. Like, you're already dead. This is almost the reverse side of that coin, where Silva is like, I already took the cyanide. I'm already dead.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm living in my hell. And I'm going to take other people into my hell.
Okay.
So that's how I see it. Maybe I'm completely off base. It's just the way I interpreted his constant deterioration as he saw M and as he relived his story and then just got bad at doing everything. And yeah, then Bond saves the day by putting a knife in, throwing a knife into Silva's back. And then, unfortunately, it's not enough time because M doesn't make it, sadly. Wow.
I think his final acting of getting knifed and being really frustrated and upset by that, then dying, was really, really well done.
I almost get the impression that he doesn't believe he is dying. Like, even when he falls to his knees, he's like, I'm still gonna say that really great one-liner. And instead, Bond is like, and then I'm the last rat. And I'm just like, whoa! Oh, yeah, it's a fantastic death from a villain.
Yeah.
And Bond even has a one-liner for M as she lays dying. He doesn't know she's dying yet. She's like, what took you so long? And he's like, I was in some deep water. Ha 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 ha. But then they discover that indeed she is dying, and all she's able to say to him is that she's glad that she was right, and that, or right about something, and that something was presumably Bond. Like, she promoted him to a 00 agent very young, compared to other 00 agents. She's always been like, you stay on mission even if the whole world has said you're not on mission. Even if I have told everybody else to go get you like I did in Quantum of Solace, I still want you on mission. Like, she really trusted this James Bond. Oh, and the last thing I need to point out about Silva, he makes a big deal out of the fact that he was forced to change his name. That Silva, Raul Silva, is a code name. And his real name is going to be stripped from the wall. And again, he thinks he is Bond's equal. He thinks that Bond is just like him. And when he gets to the grave at the chapel, he looks at a tombstone that reads 2 names with the last name Bond. And he realizes James Bond never had to change his name. Like, he never had to take on an alias. He got to be himself. And I think that's that last little domino that finally tells Silva, like, I was wrong. Like, I misread the entire situation.
I can see that. I did not clock that on my watch through, but
Yeah.
that makes sense. His cover name versus Bond's actual name.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. And then we get a cute ending of Eve going to the roof to deliver this ceramic bulldog that Bond hates, that M has always kept. It survived the explosion in her office. And Eve is like, maybe she wanted you to have a desk job. And he's like, no. And when he's like the opposite, I pictured M always looking at that ceramic bulldog and being like, I can't believe I let them put me behind a desk. I should have been out in the field my whole life.
Yeah, I did see both of them as being a proverbial bulldog. And just so, not stubborn, but just so stoic and solid. And
once they set their
feisty if they would
mind
need
to
to be.
something, like, you can't get them off of it. Once they've put their jaws down and they've bitten onto something, it's theirs. And that's the way with both M and Bond. Like, stubborn is a very good word for it, because in this movie especially, like, they stubbornly hold on to what they know. And even if that gets one of them killed, it got them both killed. What am I saying? The very beginning of the movie got Bond killed.
Yeah, Bond. They both died in this one. Let's make another $1 billion movie.
And then, you know, there's a new M behind the desk. It is Ray Fiennes playing Mallory. And because his last name is M, I guess he's just going to stick to M. Even though everybody has been M. So of course he's going to be M. But this is the first time that we've had an M replacement in a movie. Every other M replacement has been between movies. So, just something I wanted to point out before I say anything else. Is there anything else you want to say about this closing, this epilogue?
It's the place where Moneypenny gets named. Bond wants to do more missions.
Eve is revealed as Moneypenny.
Which we haven't had for his movies so far. I think with the next two ones we do see her. I think it's useful to have someone that's not M back at the office and not Q to be like grounding in a sense.
Yeah, and I like that she's an action Moneypenny, so presumably we can have her in the field again. She really is a good field agent, and I would have loved to have, frankly, if this had been a send-off to Bond, I would have loved a 007 Jamie Bond with her as the 007 actress. Obviously, they didn't do that. I think it's kind of weak to put her behind a desk to make her Moneypenny. She's a great Moneypenny.
Yeah.
She's a fantastic Moneypenny. I just got spoiled by seeing her with a rifle and seeing her do field work in a casino. Like, now I don't want her in a desk. I want her out on the field.
Yeah. That's reasonable. I didn't love the ending lines where he's so happy to do more work. Like,
Yeah. With pleasure,
okay.
M. With pleasure.
Use your Chick-fil-A bag.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, on this podcast, we do ratings, not grades, which really just means that when you take a score of 1 to 10, a grade will say an average is a 7 out of 10 because they don't want the students to feel bad, whereas a rating says the 5 out of 10 is the middle. That's the average because a 5 is in the middle of 1 through 10. So we're going to say a 5 is the average. That's just the way we do it on this podcast. But with that said, Justin, will you tell me what you would give Skyfall and why?
Usually I have my review number picked out when we start recording, but this time I didn't, because I don't think I usually change it, but at the end of this, I want to give it 6.5 because I still just love Casino Royale because of how it feels like two movies that dovetail together, and like it's all right. Like, oh, we meet Vesper after an hour. She's the most important person in the next movie.
She's just not going to be in the next movie.
Yeah, we get two full movies, two full arcs. This one felt like one arc, and the slowdown of the action scenes and the traveling scenes at the 3/4 mark just hit it a little bit down for me. I didn't love all of everything about it. Yes, it's beautifully shot. We get some very good acting and dialogue and monologue. There's creepy Bond, which brings it down. Intro is good. Song is good. Like, I enjoyed it more than your average movie. I don't enjoy it as much as Casino Royale. It may be better than Casino Royale, but my personal opinion would give it 6.5.
That's fair. That's a very fair rating, especially because I'm going to give it a 10. Oh my gosh, I'm all the way at the top.
It's your favorite
This
Bond
is
movie
my
ever.
favorite Bond movie ever. You said it for me. Like, this is the one that before we did this podcast, I had only seen it twice, but I had seen it twice to the previous movies once.
Yeah.
And then I watched it immediately after we recorded last week, and I was like, this is a 9 out of 10. This is nearly a perfect movie. And the things that stood out to me as bad still stand out to me as bad, because even in a 10 out of 10 movie, there are going to be missteps. It's the opposite end of a 1 out of 10 movie for me, where I say even in a 1 out of 10,
everything.
yeah, there's going to be something redeemable about it. Like, and so in this movie, there are some things that aren't wonderful. And frankly, there's going to be some things that are not going to age well. I hope that there will be things that we look back on and say, wow, that was weird. But for the characterization of James Bond on his 50th anniversary with his, sixth actor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actors have played this character. And I think we're at the best version of the actor with the best story that they have ever told. We did not watch Never Say Never, the unofficial Sean Connery Bond movie.
Oh, yeah.
That one, if I remember correctly, is about Bond being too old and like making mistakes and people saying you should get out of the game. This movie is doing that story again, but it's doing it in such an elevated way, and the villain is so fascinating, and he's not even in most of the movie, but he makes such a big impression for me. And then, like I said, every time I watch this movie, I get a new perspective from it. And the one I got watching it today, because I was like, I gotta make sure that a 9 is justified. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the reverse version of the Count of Monte Cristo. And then I was like, this movie's a 10 out of 10. Every time I watch it, there's something else I take away from it where I'm like, that was brilliant. That was incredible. This is peak Bond. This is the best movie in the franchise to me. And so I have now used a 1 and I have used a 10. I have explored the whole spectrum. But, you know.
All in one franchise.
Exactly. I don't know if I'm always going to be able to do that. There won't be enough movies where you can justifiably do a full range like that. But I genuinely think Skyfall is a step above most other movies. I think it's beautifully shot. I think the story really comes together in such a fascinating way. And then I think on rewatch, you start to pick up these minor details that really just elevate it in my eyes. To me, the other 10 out of 10 movie that I can think of right now, and it's for the same reason where every time I watch it, I think it gets better, is Napoleon Dynamite. I hated that movie when it first came out. Then I watched it again and I was like, okay, it's fine. Then I watched it again and I was like, you know what? This is pretty good. Then I watched it again and I was like, this is one of the best comedies ever made. And I have been that way every time I've watched it. And I feel the exact same way with Skyfall. Every time I've watched it, I've liked it more than the last time I've watched it. And it's, if I could go up to an 11, I would. I'm at a 10. I'm staying at a 10. And our show average is now the highest it's ever been at an 8.25.
Gotta be bringing down those averages.
That's okay. I did the same with Die Another Day by giving it a 1 to your 5.
I think that's fair. I think you did enjoy it more than I, and it's, for how pretty it is, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, for a show average, it's only a quarter of a point higher than Casino Royale. Like that, that was my 8 out of 10 movie. That was the one that before this one, I was like, holy crap, this movie was so good. I don't know if we're ever going to get that good again. Yeah. And then I feel like, at least for me, this movie blows that one out of the water. It's fine. It's fine to me if you don't feel the same way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all good.
But that's going to be the fun for this one when we come back and revisit it on the wrap up and we have to determine whether or not the villains really lived up to it, whether the allies lived up to it. Some days this movie is a 9 for me, but today it's a 10, and I bet it's going to be a 10 if I watch it again. Alrighty then. If you are listening and screaming at your podcatcher right now that I am insane, then why don't you send us an email at potatochippicturespod@gmail.com. It's probably the best way to get in touch with us. You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where we put out shorts 7 days a week. And then the best way to help us, if you're enjoying yourself and you want to help us grow, share the podcast, leave a review or a rating. Whatever it is that your platform of choice allows you to do it with us. And that helps other people to come find the show. And then other people can come in. And then we might get more people saying I'm crazy for saying Skyfall is a 10.
Be nice, happy community.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe one day we'll even like open up a Discord or something. But we got to have more of you here to do it, to justify it. So tell your friends, bring them along. We've got 2 movies left in the Bond franchise, a wrap-up episode, and then we'll reveal what our next franchise will be. But until...
Hooray.
Okay, our next movie is Spectre. I'm probably going to forget, but you got to help me not forget. But there is a significant reason why we are finally getting a movie called Spectre in 2015.
Spectre.
And I'm excited for it.
Is it money?
Kind of. Money is a lot to do with it. Money is actually everything to do with it. You're absolutely correct. But, we're going to get an old school villain, and I'm going to watch that tonight. So, Potato Chip Pictures and James Bond will return in Spectre.